I need you to stay calm, Mr. Carter. The doctor's words barely registered. Calm. I looked at him across the emergency room hallway. You're telling me my son needs surgery today? Dr. Daniel Hayes nodded. I know this is frightening, but Ethan's condition is serious. Waiting could make things much worse. I pressed both hands against my face. How serious? The surgery is necessary. We need to move quickly. I looked through the small window in the door. Ethan lay on the hospital bed, pale and scared. Just 2 hours ago, he had complained about stomach pain. Now I was being told he needed emergency surgery. Can I talk to him? I asked. Of course. I walked into the room. Ethan looked at me immediately. Dad, I'm here, buddy. Am I okay? I forced a smile. You're going to be okay. You promise? My throat tightened. I promise. He stared at me for a moment. Where's Mom? The question hit harder than anything else. She's busy right now. Did you call her? Yeah. Is she coming? I hesitated. She's trying. Ethan nodded, but I could see disappointment in his eyes. The nurse adjusted his blanket. We'll take good care of you, sweetheart. Thanks, Ethan whispered. I stepped outside and immediately grabbed my phone. Claire still wasn't answering. I called again, and again, and again, straight to voicemail. I left another message. Claire, answer your phone. Ethan needs surgery. Call me back right now. Nothing. Ethan at the text. Emergency. Call me immediately. No response. 10 minutes later, I sent another. This is about Ethan. Stop ignoring me. Still nothing. Dr. Hayes approached me with paperwork. We need consent forms signed. I looked at the empty space beside me. That space should have belonged to Claire. She should have been standing here. She should have been asking questions. She should have been holding my hand. Instead, I was alone. I'll sign, I said quietly. The doctor handed me the papers. As I wrote my name, anger mixed with fear. Where was she? What could possibly be more important than our son? My phone remained silent. I called again. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. I wanted to throw the phone across the hallway. Instead, I opened social media. Maybe she had posted something. Maybe there was some clue. Maybe she was stuck somewhere. Maybe she had a reason. Then I saw the photo. My heart stopped. A bright blue ocean. A luxury beach resort. Palm trees. A swimming pool. And Claire, smiling, standing beside Jason Brooks. Her ex-boyfriend. The caption read, "Much-needed reunion trip. Life is short. Enjoy every moment." I stared at the screen. No. My voice came out as a whisper. No. I opened the next photo. Claire and Jason sitting together at a beachside restaurant. Another photo. Claire laughing. Another. Jason with his arm around her shoulders. My stomach turned. While Ethan waited for surgery, she was on vacation. While I begged her to answer the phone, she was drinking cocktails on a beach. I called immediately. Voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. Then finally she texted back. Can't talk right now. What's so important? I almost dropped the phone. I typed furiously. Our son is having emergency surgery. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, her reply arrived. What? I called her. This time she answered. Nathan, what the hell is wrong with you? What are you talking about? Ethan needs surgery. There was silence. Then she sighed. Nathan, lower your voice. Lower my voice? I can barely hear you. I felt my hands shaking. Our son is in a hospital bed. I didn't know. I've called you 20 times. I was busy. Busy. Nathan, you're on vacation with Jason. Another silence followed. It's not what you think. Then tell me what I'm supposed to think. We're just catching up. While Ethan is being prepared for surgery. Stop making me sound like a monster. I laughed bitterly. You did that yourself. Nathan, don't start a fight right now. A fight. My voice cracked. Our son is terrified. I looked through the window again. Ethan was staring toward the door. Waiting. Looking for his mother. And for the first time, I couldn't honestly tell myself Claire would come. I held the phone so tightly my fingers hurt. Claire, I said, struggling to keep my voice steady. Our son is asking for you. I already told you I didn't know. You knew I kept calling. My phone was on silent. You still looked at it before answering. She didn't respond. Please, I whispered. Just come home. I can't. You can't. Our flight back isn't until Monday. Then change it. It's expensive. I closed my eyes. Ethan could have died. Nathan, don't be dramatic. Her words froze me. Dramatic? I repeated. I'm saying he'll be fine. You don't even know what's wrong with him. I'll visit him when I get back. When you get back? Yes. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You've already made your choice. Nathan, don't. I ended the call before she could say another word. For several seconds, I simply stood there, staring at the blank screen. Then someone gently touched my shoulder. Nathan. I turned and saw my younger sister, Emily. She wrapped her arms around me without asking. I'm here. I finally let myself breathe. She's not coming, I said quietly. Emily pulled back. What happened? She's on vacation with Jason. Emily's face hardened. You're kidding. I wish I were. Does she know about Ethan? I told her. And she said changing her flight would cost too much. Emily looked away, trying to hide her anger. I'll stay with you. You don't have to. I wasn't asking. Despite everything, I managed a weak smile. Thanks. Dr. Daniel Hayes walked toward us. They're ready to take Ethan. My heart started pounding. Can I see him one more time? Yes. I entered the room. Ethan smiled when he saw me. Dad, I'm right here. They're taking me now. I know. He looked around the room. Mom still isn't here. I swallowed hard. No. Did she forget? The question broke something inside me. No, buddy. Is she coming later? I don't know. He nodded slowly. Can you stay until I fall asleep? I won't leave. He reached for my hand. I'm scared. So am I. You are? Yes. I thought Dad weren't scared. I smiled through tears. Dads get scared when someone they love is hurting. He squeezed my hand. I love you. I love you more than anything. The nurses began rolling his bed toward the operating room. I'll see you soon, okay? I called. He gave me a tiny thumbs up before the doors closed. The hallway suddenly felt empty. Emily stood beside me. We'll get through this. I hope so. Minutes felt like hours. Every time the operating room doors moved, I stood up. Every time they closed again, disappointment settled deeper inside me. Finally, Dr. Hayes walked out. I rushed toward him. How is he? The doctor removed his mask and smiled. The surgery was successful. My knees nearly gave out. Thank you. He's stable. Recovery will take time, but we expect him to do well. Relief washed over me, followed by overwhelming exhaustion. Emily hugged me again. I told you he'd make it. So did I whispered, but I wasn't sure I believed it. A nurse led me to Ethan's recovery room. He was still asleep. Machines beeped softly around him. I pulled a chair close to his bed. I'm here, I whispered, even though he couldn't hear me. I looked at the empty chair beside mine. It stayed empty. No hurried footsteps. No tearful apology. No worried mother. Only silence. I realized this wasn't one terrible mistake. It was the final answer to every doubt I had ignored for years. Every missed birthday. Every broken promise. Every excuse. Every moment Ethan and I came second. The surgery had saved my son's life, but it had also forced me to face the truth about my marriage. As I held Ethan's small hand, I made one silent promise. No matter what happened next, I would never let anyone make my son feel like he wasn't enough again. I held the phone so tightly my fingers hurt. Claire, I said, struggling to keep my voice steady. Our son is asking for you. I already told you I didn't know. You knew I kept calling. My phone was on silent. You still looked at it before answering. She didn't respond. Please, I whispered. Just come home. I can't. You can't. Our flight back isn't until Monday. Then change it. It's expensive. I closed my eyes. Ethan could have died. Nathan, don't be dramatic. Her words froze me. Dramatic? I repeated. I'm saying he'll be fine. You don't even know what's wrong with him. I'll visit him when I get back. When you get back? Yes. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You've already made your choice. Nathan, don't. I ended the call before she could say another word. For several seconds, I simply stood there, staring at the blank screen. Then someone gently touched my shoulder. Nathan. I turned and saw my younger sister, Emily. She wrapped her arms around me without asking. I'm here. I finally let myself breathe. She's not coming, I said quietly. Emily pulled back. What happened? She's on vacation with Jason. Emily's face hardened. You're kidding. I wish I were. Does she know about Ethan? I told her. And She said changing her flight would cost too much. Emily looked away, trying to hide her anger. I'll stay with you. You don't have to. I wasn't asking. Despite everything, I managed a weak smile. Thanks. Dr. Daniel Hayes walked toward us. They're ready to take Ethan. My heart started pounding. Can I see him one more time? Yes. I entered the room. Ethan smiled when he saw me. Dad, I'm right here. They're taking me now. I know. He looked around the room. Mom still isn't here. I swallowed hard. No. Did she forget? The question broke something inside me. No, buddy. Is she coming later? I don't know. He nodded slowly. Can you stay until I fall asleep? I won't leave. He reached for my hand. I'm scared. So am I. You are? Yes. I thought dads weren't scared. I smiled through tears. Dads get scared when someone they love is hurting. He squeezed my hand. I love you. I love you more than anything. The nurses began rolling his bed toward the operating room. I'll see you soon, okay? I called. He gave me a tiny thumbs up before the doors closed. The hallway suddenly felt empty. Emily stood beside me. We'll get through this. I hope so. Minutes felt like hours. Every time the operating room doors moved, I stood up. Every time they closed again, disappointment settled deeper inside me. Finally, Dr. Hayes walked out. I rushed toward him. How is he? The doctor removed his mask and smiled. The surgery was successful. My knees nearly gave out. Thank you. He's stable. Recovery will take time, but we expect him to do well. Relief washed over me, followed by overwhelming exhaustion. Emily hugged me again. I told you he'd make it. So did I. I whispered, but I wasn't sure I believed it. A nurse led me to Ethan's recovery room. He was still asleep. Machines beeped softly around him. I pulled a chair close to his bed. I'm here, I whispered, even though he couldn't hear me. I looked at the empty chair beside mine. It stayed empty. No hurried footsteps. No tearful apology. No worried mother. Only silence. I realized this wasn't one terrible mistake. It was the final answer to every doubt I had ignored for years. Every missed birthday. Every broken promise. Every excuse. Every moment Ethan and I came second. The surgery had saved my son's life, but it had also forced me to face the truth about my marriage. As I held Ethan's small hand, I made one silent promise. No matter what happened next, I would never let anyone make my son feel like he wasn't enough again. I locked my phone and slipped it into my pocket. Emily looked at me carefully. What are you thinking? I'm done chasing her. You mean that? Yes. You've said those words before. I know, but this time feels different. It is different. What changed? I looked through the glass at Ethan. He almost died. Emily nodded. And Claire still stayed with Jason. I can't explain that anymore. You don't have to. We returned to Ethan's room. He was awake, staring at the ceiling. Hey, buddy, I said. He turned toward me. Can we talk? Always. Emily quietly stepped outside, giving us privacy. Ethan picked at the edge of his blanket. Dad, yeah. Can I ask something? You can ask me anything. He hesitated. You won't get mad? I promise. He took a slow breath. Does Mom love Jason more than me? The question stole every word I had. I sat beside him and held his hand. Why would you ask that? Because she went with him. That doesn't mean. She didn't come. I lower my head. I know. If she loved me, wouldn't she be here? My eyes filled with tears. You are easy to love, Ethan. That's not what I asked. I struggled to answer honestly without breaking his heart. You did nothing wrong. Then why wasn't I enough? You have always been enough. Then why? I squeezed his hand. I don't know. He looked away. I waited for her. I know. I kept thinking she'd open the door. I'm sorry. I don't want you to say sorry. What do you want? I just want you. I leaned forward and hugged him carefully. You'll always have me. He wrapped his arms around me. Promise? I promise. He rested his head against my shoulder. I believe you. Those 3 words healed something inside me while breaking something else forever. Later that evening, after Ethan fell asleep again, I walked outside the hospital for fresh air. I called my longtime friend. Michael, Nathan, I need your help. What's wrong? I think my marriage is over. There was a brief silence. Are you sure? I've never been more sure. What happened? Our son needed emergency surgery. Oh my God. Claire stayed on vacation with Jason. Michael exhaled slowly. I wish I could say I'm surprised. You knew. I knew something wasn't right. Why didn't you tell me? You weren't ready to hear it. I looked across the parking lot. I am now. What do you need? I want to protect Ethan. I can help. I don't want to fight. Then don't start one. I just want peace. Sometimes peace begins with paperwork. I let a tired laugh. That sounds like something only a lawyer would say. It also happens to be true. What should I do first? Gather everything. What everything? Bank statements, property records, insurance papers, messages, anything important. I can do that. And Nathan? Yeah. Don't warn Claire. I wasn't planning to. Good. I ended the call feeling strangely calm. For days I had begged for answers. Now I didn't need them anymore. Claire had answered every question through her choices. I returned to Ethan's room. He was sleeping peacefully, his small hand resting near the edge of the bed. I gently held it. I couldn't protect you from the pain she caused, I whispered, but I can protect you from more of it. For the first time since the surgery, I wasn't thinking about saving my marriage. I was thinking about saving my son. And I finally understood those were no longer the same thing. 3 days later, Dr. Hayes smiled as he looked over Ethan's chart. I think you're ready to go home. Ethan's eyes lit up. Really? Really? He looked at me with the biggest smile I had seen since before the surgery. Dad, did you hear that? I heard. We're going home. Yes, buddy. Grace Miller stepped into the room carrying the discharge papers. I'll explain everything before you leave. Thank you, I said. She smiled. You've both been very brave. Ethan grinned. I cried. Grace laughed softly. Being brave doesn't mean you never cry. He nodded proudly. I guess I'm brave then. You definitely are. An hour later, Emily helped carry our bags to the parking lot. She looked at me. Are you taking him back to the house? I shook my head. No. You've decided? I have. Ethan looked between us. Where are we going? I knelt beside him. We're going somewhere new. Why? Because I want us to have a peaceful place. Will Mom be there? I paused. No. He stared at the ground. Okay. Emily gently rubbed his shoulder. I think you'll like it. Does it have a big room? It has one waiting for you. His curiosity slowly replaced his sadness. Can I paint the walls? I laughed. We'll talk about that. He smiled. I want dinosaur posters. I think we can manage that. Emily winked at him. I'll help. During the drive, Ethan fell asleep in the back seat. Emily looked at me quietly. Michael called. What did he say? The divorce papers are almost ready. I'll meet him tomorrow. You sure? I've never been more sure. She nodded. I'm proud of you. I don't feel proud. You should. I feel tired. You've carried everything alone. I shouldn't have had to. No. We reached the small rental house just before sunset. It wasn't large. It wasn't fancy, but it felt peaceful. Ethan woke up as I opened his door. Are we here? We are. He climbed out and looked around. This is our house. For now. He slowly walked inside. His footsteps echoed through the nearly empty rooms. It's quiet. I know. I like it. Those 3 words made me smile. Emily carried in the first box. Which room belongs to the boss? Ethan pointed excitedly. That one. She laughed. Then let's get to work. For the next few hours, we unpacked together. Ethan carefully placed books on his new shelf. I assembled his bed while Emily organized clothes. Dad? Yeah. Can we hang my baseball picture? Of course. What about the family picture? The screwdriver stopped in my hand. I looked at the framed photo leaning against the wall. Claire stood beside us, smiling as if nothing could ever break us. I carried the frame into the hallway. Ethan watched silently. Are we keeping it? I looked back at him. We're keeping the memories. What does that mean? It means some pictures belong in our hearts instead of on our walls. He thought about my answer before nodding. I think I understand. I hope one day you won't have to. That evening, after Ethan fell asleep in his new room, Emily joined me in the kitchen. You did the right thing. I hope so. What happens tomorrow? I go back to the old house. Alone? Yes. Need help. I have to do this myself. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Then promise me one thing. What? When you walk out of that house. I looked at her. Don't leave even one piece of your future behind. The next morning, I unlocked the front door of the old house and stepped inside alone. The silence felt different now. It no longer begged me to fix my marriage. It simply reminded me that it was already over. I walked into the living room and looked around. Every picture on the wall told a story I no longer believed. I grabbed the first frame. Claire and I were smiling on our wedding day. I wanted that promise to last. I whispered. One by one, I removed every photograph. Wedding pictures, family vacations, Ethan's first birthday, Christmas mornings. I packed only the pictures that mattered because Ethan deserved to keep every happy memory that belonged to him. Claire's personal decorations stayed exactly where she had left them. When I finished the living room, I emptied my closet. Then Ethan's room, his favorite books, his baseball glove, his school trophies, his drawings. Each box felt lighter than the one before because every trip to the car carried us farther from a life built on disappointment. Around noon, my phone rang. It was Michael. Are you finished? Almost. I have the papers. I'm coming. 30 minutes later, I sat across from him in his office. He slid a folder toward me. Everything is ready. I opened it slowly. Divorce petition, custody request, financial records, property agreements. Michael watched me carefully. Any doubts? I shook my head. No, you don't have to rush. I already waited too long. He nodded. I'll file everything as soon as you're ready. I am. He handed me another envelope. What's this? A copy for Claire. I held it quietly. Think she'll fight me? I don't know. I don't want revenge. I know. I only want Ethan to feel safe. That's exactly why you're making the right decision. I thanked him and drove back to the house. The rooms looked almost empty now. I carried the last box outside before returning for one final walk through every room. No forgotten clothes. No family albums. No toys. Nothing important remained. I walked into the kitchen and placed Michael's envelope on the counter. Then I took out a blank sheet of paper and began writing. Claire, I waited for you when Ethan needed you most. He waited too. Neither of us saw you walk through that hospital door. Our son deserves a parent who chooses him every single time. I refuse to let him grow up believing he comes second to anyone. The divorce papers explain everything else. Take care of yourself. Nathan. I folded the letter and slipped it inside the envelope with the legal documents. For a long moment, I simply stared at it. Years of hope now fit inside one envelope. I pulled out my phone. Without hesitation, I blocked Claire's number. Then I deleted every shortcut that led to her social media. I didn't need another picture. I didn't need another excuse. I didn't need another lie. As I stepped outside, I locked the front door and placed the keys through the mail slot. Driving away, I expected to feel lonely. Instead, I felt something I hadn't experienced in years. Peace. That evening, Ethan ran into the living room of our new home. Dad, what is it? I finished my room. You did. You have to see it. I followed him upstairs. His dinosaur posters covered one wall. His baseball trophies stood proudly on a shelf. His smile filled the room. Do you like it? He asked. I love it. He hugged me tightly. I think this feels like home. So do I. Miles away, Claire's plane was landing. She probably expected me to answer her calls. She probably expected our house to welcome her home. Instead, she would unlock the front door to empty rooms, bare walls, silent memories, and one envelope waiting on the kitchen counter. Everything she had taken for granted was finally gone. My phone started ringing the morning after Claire returned home. I looked at the screen. Claire. I watched it ring until it stopped. A second later, another call came. Then another. Then another. I turned the phone over on the table. Ethan looked up from his cereal. Dad. Yeah. Who's calling? Nobody we need to answer. He nodded and continued eating. A message appeared a few minutes later. Nathan, please answer. I came home. The house is empty. Where are you and Ethan? Asterisk asterisk. I locked the screen without replying. Another message arrived. Please don't do this. We need to talk. Asterisk asterisk. I stayed silent. Emily knocked on the front door. I brought groceries. Come in. She walked inside carrying 2 bags. Has she started calling? She hasn't stopped. Emily placed the bags on the counter. She called me too. What did you say? Nothing. Did she ask where we are? 5 times. And I told her it wasn't my place to answer. I smiled faintly. Thank you. I'm protecting Ethan. So am I. My phone buzzed again. Emily glanced at the screen. Another message? Yes. Read it. I opened it quietly. I made a terrible mistake. Please tell Ethan I'm sorry. Asterisk, asterisk. Emily sighed. Too late. I know. Another message arrived before I could lock the phone. Jason left me. He said he never wanted anything serious. Asterisk, asterisk. I stared at the words. Emily folded her arms. Does that change anything? No. Good. I deleted the notification. That afternoon, Michael called. Everything's moving forward. Has Claire contacted you? Several times. What did she want? To convince me not to file the papers. What did you tell her? That all communication goes through me now. I leaned back in my chair. Thank you. You don't owe me thanks. I do. How's Ethan? Better every day. And you? I still wake up expecting all this to be a nightmare. It'll get easier. I hope so. It will. After the call, I found Ethan sitting quietly in his room. What are you drawing? A dinosaur. It looks great. He smiled. I gave him a cape. So he's a superhero? He protects everyone. I like that. He became quiet again. Dad, yes. My stomach doesn't hurt anymore. I'm glad. My heart still does. I sat beside him. I know. Will it stop? One day. When? I can't promise when. He rested his drawing on his lap. I miss the old mom. I swallowed hard. So do I. The one who came to my baseball games. I remember. The one who made pancakes. I remember that too. What happened to her? I searched for the right words. Sometimes people make choices that change them. Can they change back? I don't know. He nodded slowly. I wish they could. So do I. The next morning, I took Ethan to meet someone new. A woman greeted us with a warm smile. Hello. I'm Dr. Sarah Bennett. Ethan held my hand a little tighter. She crouched until she was at his eye level. You must be Ethan. He nodded shyly. I don't want to make you talk. He looked at me. She smiled kindly. We could draw. His shoulders relaxed. I like drawing. I heard that. She opened her office door. I've got plenty of paper. Ethan looked at me again. Will you stay? I'll be right outside. He took a deep breath. Okay. As he walked into her office, I realized healing wasn't about pretending nothing had happened. It was about finally giving my son a safe place to say everything he had been forced to keep inside. I sat outside Dr. Sarah Bennett's office, watching the clock move one slow minute at a time. My phone buzzed again. I already knew who it was before I looked. Claire. Another message appeared. Please let me see Ethan. I know I don't deserve it, but I'm begging you. Asterisk, asterisk. I read every word. Then I locked the screen without answering. A few minutes later, Dr. Bennett opened the door. You can come in now. I stepped inside. Ethan looked up from a table covered with crayons. Hi, Dad. Hey, buddy. Dr. Bennett smiled gently. We had a good first session. Did he talk? He talked when he felt ready. I nodded. That's all I wanted. She looked at Ethan. Would you mind waiting outside for just a minute? Okay. After he left, she turned to me. He's carrying a lot of guilt. Guilt. He thinks he wasn't important enough for his mother to choose. My chest tightened. I keep telling him that's not true. I know. Then why does he believe it? Because children often blame themselves for adult choices. I rubbed my forehead. How do I fix that? You don't fix it with one conversation. So what do? You keep showing up. I will. You keep listening. I will. You remind him through your actions that he is loved. I already promised him that. Then keep your promise. I will. She smiled. That's exactly what he needs. When Ethan climbed into the car, he looked calmer than he had in weeks. How was it? I asked. I drew pictures. Did you like her? Yeah. What was your favorite part? She listened without interrupting. I smiled. She's good at that. So are you. Those 4 words stayed with me all the way home. That evening, my phone buzzed again. Another message from Claire. Jason admitted he never loved me. He said I was only fun while the vacation lasted. I lost everything. Please don't let me lose Ethan too. Asterisk, asterisk. I stared at the screen for several seconds. Then I placed the phone face down. I wasn't happy she was suffering. I simply couldn't ignore what Ethan had suffered first. Later that night, Michael called. Everything all right? Yes. Claire contacted me again. What did she say? She wants mediation. I'll follow your advice. Good. She keeps sending messages. You don't have to answer. I'm not going to. You sound calmer. I finally understand something. What's that? I kept trying to save someone who never tried to save us. Michael stayed quiet for a moment. I think you finally accepted the truth. I have. After the call ended, I walked into Ethan's room. He was already asleep, hugging the stuffed dinosaur Emily had bought him after the surgery. I quietly pulled the blanket over his shoulders. He smiled in his sleep. For the first time in weeks, that smile came without fear. I whispered, "You don't have to compete for love anymore." He never heard the words. Maybe he didn't need to. Every day we spent together was already saying them louder than I ever could. Claire had lost our marriage the moment she chose someone else over her own child. But losing me was never the greatest consequence of her decision. The greatest loss was the little boy who had once waited by a hospital door, believing his mother would walk through it. Now he had stopped waiting, and I knew I would spend the rest of my life making sure he never had to again. 6 months passed faster than I expected. One Saturday morning, I stood in the kitchen flipping pancakes while Ethan rushed downstairs. "Dad, what?" "I'm starving." I laughed. "Good morning to you, too." "Sorry." He hugged me around the waist. "Good morning." "That's better." He looked at the stove. "Chocolate chips." "You already know the answer." "Best dad ever." "I'll accept that title." He smiled, and I realized something that once felt impossible. His smile reached his eyes again. There was no fear hiding behind it. No quiet disappointment. Just happiness. Emily walked through the front door without knocking. "I smelled pancakes." "You have terrible timing." "I have perfect timing." Ethan laughed. "Aunt Emily wants mine." "I absolutely do." "You can't have it." She pretended to gasp. "I helped decorate your room." "I know." "I bought you dinosaur." "I know." "I deserve pancakes." Ethan grinned. "You can have one." "I knew you loved me." We spent breakfast laughing instead of arguing. The silence in our home had changed. It wasn't empty anymore. It was peaceful. Later that afternoon, Michael called. "The hearing is tomorrow." "I'll be there." "Are you ready?" "I think so." "Nervous?" "A little." "That's normal." "I don't want Ethan hurt again." "We'll protect him." "I know." The next morning, I helped Ethan straighten his tie. "Do I have to go?" "You only have to answer if the judge asks you something." "Will Mom be there?" "Yes." He looked down. "I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything you don't want to." He nodded. "Okay." When we entered the courthouse, Michael greeted us. "Morning." "Morning." He smiled at Ethan. "You look sharp." "Thanks." "You ready?" "I think so." Michael looked at me. "Everything will be fine." I hope he was right. A few minutes later, I saw Claire for the first time in months. She looked thinner. Her eyes were red. She slowly walked toward us. "Nathan." I stayed quiet. She looked at Ethan. "Hi, sweetheart." He held my hand tighter. "Hi. I've missed you." He didn't answer. Claire looked at me. "Can we talk?" Michael stepped between us. "Anything legal goes through me." She sighed. "I only wanted 1 minute." I finally spoke. "This isn't the place." She lowered her eyes. "I know." The courtroom doors opened. Everyone walked inside. The judge greeted us before reviewing the case. After several minutes, Claire was asked to speak. She stood slowly. Her voice shook. "I made the biggest mistake of my life." The courtroom remained silent. "I chose a vacation over my son's surgery." She wiped away tears. I thought I would come home and fix everything." She looked toward Ethan. "I believed I would always have another chance." Her voice broke. "I was wrong." I looked at my son. He stared quietly at the floor. Claire continued speaking. "I wasn't thinking like a mother." She covered her face. "I was selfish." The judge waited patiently. Claire lowered her hands. "I hurt my husband." She looked at me. "I hurt my son." She struggled to continue. "And I understand if neither of them can forgive me." For the first time since everything fell apart, I didn't feel angry. I only felt certain. Some apologies come after the damage is already permanent. Some tears arrive too late to change the story. And some lessons cost far more than anyone ever expects. The judge looked at me. "Mr. Carter, would you like to say anything?" I stood and took a slow breath. "Yes, Your Honor." I looked toward the bench instead of Claire. I didn't come here asking for revenge. My voice stayed calm. I came here asking for stability. I glanced at Ethan. My son deserves a home where he never has to wonder whether someone will choose him. The courtroom stayed silent. I can't erase what happened. I paused. But I can decide what happens next. The judge nodded. Thank you. After reviewing the documents, the judge spoke again. Based on the evidence presented, primary physical custody will be awarded to Mr. Nathan Carter. I closed my eyes for one brief moment. The judge continued. Mrs. Carter will receive supervised visitation until the court determines that expanded parenting time is in the child's best interest. Claire quietly cried. Understand. The hearing ended. People slowly stood and began leaving the courtroom. Claire stepped toward me carefully. Nathan. I stopped. I'm listening. She wiped away another tear. I don't expect forgiveness. I remained silent. I only want one thing. What is it? Tell Ethan I never stopped loving him. I answered honestly. Those words have to become actions. I know. You can't repair this with promises. I know. She looked at Ethan. I'm sorry. He didn't answer immediately. Finally, he spoke in a soft voice. I hope you get better. Claire covered her mouth as fresh tears rolled down her face. I'll try. He nodded politely. Bye, Mom. Goodbye, sweetheart. I gently took Ethan's hand. We walked away together without looking back. Outside, the afternoon sun felt warmer than I remembered. Ethan looked up at me. Dad. Yeah. Is it over? The court part is. What about everything else? I smiled gently. We'll keep healing. He thought about that for a second. I like healing better than fighting. So do I. He squeezed my hand. Can we get ice cream? I laughed. I was hoping you'd ask. Chocolate. Chocolate. With sprinkles? Absolutely. He grinned. I knew you'd say yes. As we walked toward the parking lot, I realized how different life felt now. Months earlier, I had believed losing my marriage meant losing everything. I had been wrong. I hadn't lost my family. I had saved the part of it that mattered most. Ethan climbed into the car and smiled through the open window. Hurry up, Dad. I'm coming. You drive too slow. I drive safely. He laughed. I guess that's okay. His laughter filled the car. It wasn't forced. It wasn't hiding pain. It was simply the happy sound of a little boy feeling safe again. I started the engine. As we pulled away from the courthouse, I looked at Ethan one more time. He stared out the window, already talking about baseball practice, school, and which ice cream flavor he wanted next time. He wasn't thinking about hospitals anymore. He wasn't waiting for a phone call that would never come. He wasn't wondering whether he mattered. That was the greatest victory I could ever ask for. I reached across the center console and gently squeezed his hand. I love you, buddy. He smiled without hesitation. I love you too, Dad. At that moment, I understood something I would never forget. Real victory wasn't watching someone else lose. It was making sure the person I loved most never had to question his worth again. As long as I was alive, Ethan would never have to wonder who would choose him first. He already knew the answer, and I would spend the rest of my life proving it.